That your players have the ability, but it's definitely been questioned whether they had the character to put in a performance like that.
That should be a big issue for our players. People, if you have one person thinking like that, you have the ability, but not the character. We have to fight that, and we have to change that mindset. We have to start someday to be consistent, not in the way we play, the way we face the competition. So let's start today.
Obviously, I think if you don't win, it's always an opportunity missed. I think we have to be absolutely honest with each other. It could have been a lot worse. We're still a work in progress. You know, we can improve, and we should improve if we want to achieve our goals and dreams that we have. Today was a very tough one. We got a point, and we move on.
I have to ask you about the performance of Trent, because he had his hands full today, struggled with the pace of Darlow, the creativity of Bruno Fernandes down that left-hand side.
Yeah, but you are talking about two very good players, so sometimes it's difficult for defenders to play against these players if they are at their best, and that's what they were today. So Trent has played so many very good games for us. Today probably wasn't his best game, but that also has to do with the quality of Darlow and Bruno Fernandes.
There have been some very poor performances this season, and this was so good, you wonder how you can go from that to this so quickly.
The mind.
Yeah.
The mind. Today we changed the mindset, the beliefness, the confidence, and I saw everyone secure today. We have the top players here who can play with the ball, but sometimes when we had the ball a few games ago, we were like stressed, thinking too much, and today we play about feelings. When you play like that, you can enjoy football.
And is the fair result in the end the way that both teams played, and especially in the second half, and the number of chances both sides had?
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, I do think we had more chances than them, but being 1-0 down in the second half and conceding in the last minute a very big chance at 2-2, that probably feels as if we are maybe a bit lucky with the result. But if you just look the whole game back, I think you would see that we had much more open chances than them. But yeah, 1-0 down second half and conceding such a big chance in the last minute, that's probably stays in the mind of people for a long time.
Is it fair to say that you maybe needed their first goal more than they needed? Because once they scored that goal, we saw the team that we usually see playing well.
Yeah, I don't fully agree with that, because I think in the first half hour we created 3 open chances out of open play. So exactly what we're always trying to do. But there was also a phase in the game where it's difficult to play through them, because if they play with 10 players behind the ball in a low block with the quality players they have, with the quality defenders they have, and the work rate they showed today, it's not always easy to play through. And that's what you could see during the game, and that's why it's also a compliment for us if you play against a team that has so much quality and such a work rate like they had today, that we were still able to create so many chances.
Is there a word defensively? Because you said that they created a lot of chances, and also the goals, maybe, because I've heard Virgil van Dijk talking, he thought that they're easy goals to concede, that the team conceded today.
Yeah, I agree with him. I don't think they created a lot of chances. The 2 chances they created were a goal, and in the first half they had an open chance, and in the second half, just before the end, they had an open chance as well. In every goal you concede, you always feel you can do better. But these two, we definitely could. Especially the second one we conceded, we had more bodies in our own 18-yard box than them, and it's a bit of a similar goal we've conceded before. So you always hope you learn from the things that happened before. But it's also football. It's also not only we want to prevent them, but they have some quality players that can score goals, and that is also what happened in both situations.
To this game, does that feel like a good point today?
It depends if you see the game. I think we could have won this game. They had opportunities also, but if you see the context and the moments of the team, if you ask any fan of any club, if 1 point was good for Manchester United, they say yes. But after the game, you feel that you could have won.
What was going through your mind right at the end when Joshua Zirkzee pulled that ball back for Harry Maguire deep in stoppage time?
Yeah, I think in the last games some moments were really hard on us. And today we need a little bit luck in the end. But I'm a focus on the performance and the way we face this game. That is for me it's the most important thing, because we need to do that every week, not just in big games.
You'd said in the build-up that you hadn't really had much time on the training field with your players. This week you did. Is that a sign of the improvement you feel you can make if you get the time with the players?
I don't want to use that, because even without training we can be so much better than we were in the last weeks. If we focus on the competition, if we suffer, if we fight, if we are really if we have one plan and stick with the plan, you can do it sometimes without training. It has to be with mentality. So I'm more focused on that. So I don't want to use that we train and we play better. That is clear, but the most important thing is the mentality, and we were a different team in that aspect.
But did you feel today that your philosophy, the things you've been trying to get across, the players were implementing it better today than they have so far?
I think so. They were more comfortable with the ball. You can see it that they have the positioning. They understood the movement of the teammate. So that you can see it. Again, I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the way we faced the game.
And just the last one from me. There was a nice moment just before half-time when the away fans really made a point of singing Joshua Zirkzee's name again when he came on. Was it important to you that he played at some point today, given what happened at Newcastle?
It's always hard for Joshua, but our fans are amazing, and you can see in this context they can make a mistake also. We are doing mistake every day, so our supporters in this moment can make a mistake, and then in this game they change that, so everything is okay.
Well, there's some very honest interviews on both sides there, weren't there? And they were positive, Manchester United, in what was a very good game.
Yeah, I thought that was a really, really impressive performance from Manchester United. But what I would say is that has to be the norm now. That's the standard. They have to show that effort and that attitude and that performance. We've all seen what they can do. That has to happen every single week now, because I thought they were superb today.
It was refreshing, actually, wasn't it? Neither side was going to settle for a point in those closing stages.
No, it was a brilliant game. It was end to end, wasn't it? It was a bit of a basketball game in the end, which was great entertainment for the neutral. But Al's right, it's a mentality thing now. We've seen a few weeks back they went to Etihad and they won that game. He thought that's the springboard for they push on. They didn't do that. So today they have to build in it, and I think it's Arsenal next in the FA Cup. It's a tough game as well, but they played really well today, Man United.
Yeah. OK, let's look at some of the different aspects of this game. And first of all, the problems that Manchester United caused Liverpool down. Liverpool's right, United's left.
Well, there were so many impressive performances. Menu, Fernandes, Martinez, I thought. But the standout for me was Diogo Dalot down there, left-hand side. And Trent has had so many impressive games this season, but today certainly wasn't one of those. And Dalot got the better of him 99% of the time. This was his intention all afternoon, to go past him like he did there. All right, Trent wins that one. I think that was the only one he won, really. But everything he did defensively, particularly going forward, was so positive. He always was thinking, how am I going to hurt you by getting in behind? He's going to win that individual battle. He gives the ball there. His run was perfect, the timing of it. And this ball in is dreamland. I mean, Ahmed he doesn't stop, doesn't slow down, so he actually goes past it. But it's a fantastic ball. 1v1, he knocked it past Trent. He felt so comfortable. Another brilliant ball in with the left foot. It deserved someone to actually get on the end of it. It was a constant. This time with the outside of the right boot. I mean, that's all you want as a forward, you want someone to do that, to put balls into the box, and he did it all afternoon. Again, he goes past him. Again, I think that's a great ball in. Again, with the left foot. This is in the 88th minute. Look at him closing down. He's the furthest man forward for Manchester United, and then they all follow him in, and then eventually they win the ball back. The last clip I'm going to show you is in the 91st minute. Look where he starts from, and look where he actually ends up. And Man United are going or trying to win this game now. As I said, he started on the edge of his own box, and look where he actually ends up. in Liverpool's box. I mean, he did so much damage today. He was absolutely outstanding. He really was. And you can see that Liverpool sort of dominated that side of the pitch, and so many times that they went down that side and caused loads and loads of problems. And you just have a look at the next stat that will show you. That tells you how impressive he was. Touches in the opposition box, look, equal first. Crosses into the box first. Possession won, equal. He was fantastic, I thought.
So when you look at those stats, just to tie it back to the thing that Lisandro Martinez said when he was doing that and about mentality, just from a Dalot point of view, who in essence is a right back, but he's playing left wing back. So when we're looking at mentality, is that the kind of performance that says, right, you can be more wing than back on your wrong side, and you have to play like that?
Yeah, but whatever the manager has said to them in the last couple of days, they all seem to have taken notice in terms of how aggressive they have to be, how much effort they have to put in. There's the one thing you can't accept as a footballer is people questioning your attitude, and people have done that with this Manchester United squad on more than one occasion this season. But when you see what they did today in so many areas, that can no longer happen.
The other talking point following that analysis of Dan United's left is therefore about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Liverpool's right back and everything, whether he's been distracted by the Real Madrid stuff. Do you just put that down to a bad game?
Yeah, I think we've all been there, haven't we, Mark? Had a poor game. You know, I think, as Arne Slot said, the opposition was really good against Trent. And yes, he probably has... the human side of Trent Alexander-Arnold, well, he has got thoughts of maybe moving or a new contract, whatever it might be, but that shouldn't take away from his performance today. I think he just had a
You are
poor
allowed
game.
to have a bad game.
You are allowed to have a poor game, yeah.
Back to Manchester United and the back three and how organised they were.
Well, Ruben's come in obviously from day one at Sporting and done the same. We've played with a back three and that's just the way he's going to play. We think, should he change? But I don't think he'll ever will change. And you can see there was really good signs today. You can see the back three set up, obviously the two wing backs on the outside, Martinez, Maguire and De Ligt. They've got a really nice balance, obviously with Martinez on that left-hand side and natural left-footed. He's got the licence to go all the way in, Mark, and press the midfielders. So be it. Again, this is Martinez, probably not the best clearance from him, but you see the reaction, get back in, cover the goal and does a brilliant block. And again, all afternoon, when you go to Anfield, when you go to Liverpool, sitting top of the Premier League, you know you're going to have to be defensively solid. And I thought they were today. Again, keep an eye on Martinez here, look. He goes into Jones, he tracks him and he goes, no, I'm not happy, I'm going to go all the way in again. But what that does, Cromwell, now there's space down the side. You want Maguire to come across, you want De Ligt to come across. And can Harry deal with that space? Too right, he can. Harry's been sort of signed a new contract, I think, this week as well. And the manager's speaking really positive. There's De Ligt flying in the attack. I love that, Mark, because it's such a big game. It's a historic fixture over the years and it's a fantastic. And the other side, Maguire diving in. You know, the Liverpool fans, you see, not happy, but you can imagine the way end. They'll be jumping up like as if they scored a goal when tackles like that go in. And here, this is the goal. Look at Martinez on the front foot, ahead of Salah. And again, he's not just happy with, winning the ball high up the pitch. He thinks, you know what, I might be able to affect something in the opposition box. And obviously Bruno finds him, and this is more like an Alan Shearer finish than a centre half. But look at that! What a brilliant finish from the centre back, and it's. Again, look at this for a block stop cross into the box. I think he might have even tackled the snowman behind the goal here because his momentum took him all the way off the pitch. And then Yoro come on with 10 minutes to go. He swapped with De Ligt. But look at this for desire from the young man. Look at this for a sprint. I know he's only come on, he's going to be fresh, but at the same time, his timing, Mark,
that's
everything.
A great tackle.
It's an unbelievable tackle. There's a risk to it, but he's got the timing absolutely spot on. And again, last couple of minutes, Maguire, look, throwing his body on the line. The manager talks about desire, determination, mindset, mentality. It was all there today in the back three. And again, we talk about centre-half scoring goals. This is the last kick of the game. Maguire could have been the hero. I mean, I think Xerxes could have done a wee bit better with the pass, but, look at the reaction of the Man United players and the manager and the bench. They're all, it's the last kick. This is to get 3 points. So Nana in the backdrop as well, he just can't believe it, can he? But again, I think Ruben will be delighted with that performance.
They had the difference that I saw today. They had an energy about them. They had an aggression about them, and they also had legs in midfield, which I think was hugely important.
Did they also look like? So if you take Martinez, for example, who I think the wisdom is that he's struggled over the last month or so in this system. Did he look more today like he knew how to play this system? And that must be because they've had a whole week to work on it.
He kind of said himself he played with the freedom after the game. He's in his comments he played with freedom, but you hit the nail on the head as well. He had a full week, Ruben, since he come in. I think it's every 3 days, game after game after game. He didn't have time to work with him, so he's had a full week to prepare for this game. And I think you could see that today in the game.
Yeah. There's no panic as far as Liverpool are concerned.
No,
I mean,
but the office haven't said that. They got a point, so yeah, no panic.
These are the fixtures that they have coming up over the next month. I mean, 8 games in 25 days is a lot, Shay, but they will be able to rotate given some of those fixtures.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, the Accrington one, you would think he will change it. But again, there's no easy games. When you're sitting at the top of the Premier League, every team wants to knock you off your perch. I don't think it's just a bit of a blip today. They weren't at their best, but I think they'll be fine, Mark.
Yeah. Forest away, Brentford away, Bournemouth away. They've got difficult away fixtures.
Yeah, really tough game.
Watch, how do you reflect on a point?
Disappointed. Yeah, that's a feeling that I've got at the moment. Obviously, it could be a lot worse with that last chance if that goes in, of course. I think the way we conceded those 2 goals is unacceptable. It's too easy, lazy, and shouldn't happen. But obviously, the way we fight back after we go 1-0 down is a good thing. I think it was quite open in the end, could have gone both ways. But yeah, that's the situation.
When you say about the goals you conceded, what was it specifically that you were annoyed at?
That they came behind the line quite easily, an easy cross and tap in. And these are basic things that we have to improve, and it shouldn't happen.
What about the response? You mentioned it a moment ago, to be 1 down, to come back, to lead. I mean, that's the type of character that you need to show, but then to go and concede the equaliser, is that the particularly disappointing aspect from you, that you got your noses in front and then were pegged back again?
Disappointed to drop points here against Man United. I think it was always going to be a tough game against them. They have good players, a new good manager who has different ideas, and I don't think they get the respect that they deserve at the moment. I heard questions before the game about if we resting players, rotating players. They are a very good side, and they made it difficult for us today. Like I said, it could have gone their way as well. But I look at my own team and how we should have done much better, and that's why I'm disappointed today, because we wanted to win. We could have won. Like I said as well, you know, if we want to win, we have to also be more dominant in the way we press. And when we have the ball, make better decisions too.
Liverpool debut, by the way, Virgil van Dijk. Is that just a sign of the standards they've set under Arne Slot?
Absolutely, yeah. And himself, before Arne Slot came. I mean, the standards have always been there from the players, and leaders like Virgil van Dijk. Of course, there'll be a little bit of disappointment, but it's not the worst result in the world. You know, you've not been beaten. You've got another point, you know, further clear of your nearest rival. Still got a game in hand. Still lots to be positive about for Liverpool. But of course, you know, they're perfectionists. They're, you know, at the top of the table and flying high in all competitions, and rightly so. Their performances have been incredible this season. So, you know, having those high standards is you know, you expect nothing else from Virgil van Dijk, but it's not the end of the world for Liverpool today, absolutely not.
He mentioned the open end to the game and how both sides had chances. Let's deal with Liverpool's first. Tremendous tackle from Yoro on Nunez from the break here, but you've noticed something very minute but very crucial from Darwin Nunez.
I thought so, yeah. I thought, you know, sometimes you've got to be a little bit clever, a little bit cute. I think he takes it with his wrong foot. He waits for the ball to come to his right foot. The near foot there is his left foot. You know, Jota eventually has his shot, and Arne parries it out. But I just think when we see it at a different angle, this is a great effort as well, by the way. Conor Bradley does see a little gap, and Arne just closes it off. Maybe he could have cut it back, but there was a big gap there. But I just thought when the cross came in, here, take it on your left foot. If you take that on your left foot, your near foot that's further away from Yoro, you get a penalty. Absolutely, he brings you down. But he lets it come across his body, which then gives Yoro a chance to actually make the tackle. So as I say, if I were him, I think he should have gone left foot and taken it at an earlier point away from Yoro, take him out of the game, and he would have brought him down, and it would have been another penalty. It's a great effort, well, great little flick on, and just had no pace on for the second header from Virgil van Dijk here.
Yeah, but as Michael said, he gave him the chance to do it, and he shouldn't.
Now then, sometimes in this fixture you get heroes who stand forward. Harry Maguire could have been that hero. The last kick of the game, the whistle went after this.
Or Xerxes.
Or Xerxes, yeah.
You think he's going to shoot there? That
should he have shot?
Well, looking at it now, yeah, he probably should have done. But he's obviously a player who's lacking in confidence. You see all the United fans give him a great reception when he came after disappointment on Monday. He's cut back. It might be the best thing to do that.
Smacks you in the face of somebody with no confidence. Yeah. But what do you expect?
We'll pass into Rio Ferdinand if he's squaring it.
No, certainly not him. No. He's not here, is he?
You're going for that far corner, surely.
That smacks you in the face of somebody with no confidence. Yeah. But what do you expect? The manager dragged him off for half an hour the other day.
Yeah.
One, you're not shooting. That's a total lack of confidence. Two, you're passing to a defender. Well, why would you do that when you're attacking player? Now, if you're going to do that, fine. But then the pass was just awful. It was nervous. It was bouncy. It was spinny. It was just I don't want this.
Don't want the ball.
I don't want
the
this.
only reason you square that if it's an open goal, if an empty goal, Maguire,
it's as hard a chance.
He did the ball's perfect. He's still got 2 players to get it past.
Yeah.
So Xerxes the more you look at it, you think he's got to be the one to take the shot. He's got the shot free of goal. He's got one person to beat.
Yeah. But the ball, as I say, it's just the whole sequence, the decision, and then once you make the negative decision, then you play the safe, easy, horrible. Instead of taking care and playing a more, precise on-the-floor pass, it just struck me of, oh my word, that guy's just got no confidence and he's in a panicking position, and it's the worst place in the world to be. If you've got no confidence, being in front of goal when all the eyes of the world are on you, not very nice.
And we talk about fine margins. That could have been a huge moment if that goes in the back.
It could have been for him. We talked before about Diego Forlan. He was in a very similar position, couldn't score a goal for United, and he scores there, and he's a big hero.
It's that end as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's that end, that side of the pitch. And it's the only thing he's thought about is scoring the winning goal at Anfield. He had a great chance to do it. He'll probably look back and think, well, I should have, probably made the wrong decision. But as Michael said, he's a player lacking in confidence. He's been dragged off after half an hour. His chin's on the floor. And he comes on Anfield to a really difficult place, and he gets in a great position, great run, great ball into him. You think, come on, this is it for you. And he didn't quite take it, but I'm hoping that there's opportunities in the future that he probably will change his mind.
Is the flip side, we've seen managers in the past get back to 2-2 at a place like Anfield and just bank in, take the point. But this United team, this United manager weren't doing that, as that chance showed.
No, they've got to show more of that. That was the case today, yes. But that's a theme that has to
carry on.
That's a theme that has to carry on. Yeah, it's okay doing it on a one-off, but they've got to produce that week in, week out. Now, as I said, we've seen that blueprint. We've seen 8 or 9 players that, if fit, could probably play every week. I think Lenny Euro, if he gets right, if he gets games under his belt, he could be one that comes into that back three to the right-hand side. You think of Ugarte, Mainu, you think if they're fit, they're going to play. Mainu needs games. I think Mainu at times is a little bit sloppy today in possession, but he's not played a lot of football. He will get sharper as the season goes on. And there will be a better team. With Mainu and Ugarte in the team, no doubt there'll be a better team. I think Fernandes and Diallo in them positions were a threat. I think Fernandes, quality-wise, he just brings a bit of composure to the game, which was good. Obviously, Diallo with his threat from that position. I think he's better suited there to wing-back. I think, they played quite defensive wing-backs today, which you can understand at Anfield away. Of course you can. Will he change that in some way in games to come? Will he play one defensive one and then possibly bring a Garnacho into the left-hand side as more of an attacking wing-back? He's got options there, but I think as long as he sticks with this, the majority of this team, your 7, 8, 9 players of this team, just adds bits around it, and get a bit of momentum now. I think they're capable of doing all right. They're still not going to be brilliant, but they're going to do all right.
Where are you sitting now with the midfield? I mean, we've mentioned Casemiro, Eriksen, of course, Mainu, but Ugarte now, the way you're talking, it's almost like for the legs alone in that position, is he now a must? Is he now the sort of... Yeah, Ugarte, is he now the one that if you were the manager, you go, right, it's him and then somebody else?
It has to be. And I think all 3 of them are capable of playing with him.
Yeah.
I think Mainu would be the best one. Once he's right, once he's playing, once his fitness is better.
And is that sort of partnership and understanding over a period of time going to be beneficial, hopefully, to the team?
It has to be, yeah. I think partnerships all over the pitch are important. And you look at Manchester United now, you don't really see any partnerships. You don't see any links between players. You don't see a link between a midfielder and a forward that you used to see. And they just go out of the game. But them two, any two in there, oh sorry, not any two, Ugarte and another one, are more than capable of playing for that team. And not just Ugarte for his legs, I even think his quality on the ball was, it surprised me a little bit, because I did see a little bit of him at PSG. And he's probably done better than I think he would do. And
well, I suppose the manager's finding out about all these players, but he's one he's had for a full season before.
Yeah, he's had before at Lisbon and did well for him at Lisbon. That's a really young player as well. So he knows him, and I think this lad, he's really grown in confidence. I thought he took up some great positions, he helped defend defensively, he helped with the attack, and I thought even he had the composure to take the ball as well. And it looks to me like it has to be him with another.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of choice, but obviously a lot of them are struggling for legs, aren't they, I suppose? That's the problem.
Mainly with his legs, that has to be a worry. He doesn't finish a lot of games.
Don't finish a lot of games. No. He looks heavy, but he tires a lot, doesn't he? And if it's one thing, he's an unbelievable player, but if there's one thing about Mainu, it's getting around the pitch and his ability to, to last a full game at the high intensity that's needed. And then you look at the other alternatives. You've got Eriksen that's getting on in years, Casemiro that's never been that mobile but getting on in years. So I guess you're left with Ugarte and another.
And I guess if, and we don't know, if they can do any kind of business in January, you wouldn't say with those names that centre midfield would be the priority if they can only bring in, say, one player in January, would you? Or would you?
I still think they need better than what they've got if they're going to go to another level. I think maybe...
But in the short term, say you can bring in one player...
Centre forward has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
Where do you find those in January?
Well,
then?
where do you find anybody?
Where do you find anybody in January? It's so difficult, but a centre forward has to be a priority,
Yeah. I mean, it's one, isn't there, really? Well,
there's the Osherman rumours, I suppose,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's one in the squad now that's a recognised centre forward. If you don't play Højlund, then you're either playing someone like Xerxes that, by the managers and by Xerxes himself, they don't, they both think he's a 10, let's say. Who else isn't there? Rashford can play that position. He's never wanted to play that position, really. Ahmad, is a 10 as well. He's the only one in the squad.
I was just going to say, the mismanagement of the squad to allow Man United to have one centre forward, and one centre forward who wasn't proven, by the way. He's never had a brilliant goal scoring record. He did okay at Atalanta, but it wasn't amazing. And for Manchester United, when you're talking about an attacking team, the history of Manchester United scoring goals, and they're left with one centre forward, I think Michael's right. It has to be a priority. But where do you get them from in January? I don't know.
And that is always the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, there's been some good players signed in January in the past. I mean, Manchester United signed Vidic. Did they sign Fernandes?
Patrice Evra.
But there's been some good ones in January, but it's not easy.
Let's go back to Anfield, speak to one of the Manchester United players. Diogo Dalot's waiting to talk to us in the rain. Thank you for joining us. 2-1 down at Anfield. Would you take that, or are you running that Harry Maguire chance through your mind that could have been a better day?
Yeah, obviously, I think it would be a totally different feeling if that chance.
Maguire chance through your mind that could have been a better day.
Yeah, obviously, I think it would be a totally different feeling if that chance would go in. But apart from the result, I think what we wanted really to see was the fighting spirit that we showed, the character, playing football. I think it was a proper football game. Everybody enjoyed to watch. And us inside the pitch, we enjoyed as well. And I think that was the first little step that we wanted to bring back to our team. And today we showed more that we can be a team, and that's I think the standard for the rest of games.
Yeah, that is the positive. What's the difference then, Diogo? Perhaps even from the last game, how you can go from one level to that today?
I mean, we have to be realistic. This is probably the lowest that this club has been, and it's tough. It's tough to hear things. I mean, you have two players inside that studio that know what it is to win for this club. They know the maximum standard of this club, and for us to arrive there, we have to fight, and we have to work really hard. And I've been here for a while. I want to have that feeling as well, and I know that the first step to arrive there is at least show what we show today, but we need to show every game. This is not a one game yes or one game no. We just have to be consistent on that.
Diogo, Paul Scholes, well done. I think that was probably Manchester United's best performance of the season. Now, you've had 4 or 5, maybe even 6 days to work on stuff since the Newcastle game. Do you think that's been a big help?
It was definitely. I mean, I don't want to try to find excuses, but the reality is that we didn't have a lot of time to train. And you know, in football, when you have changing of manager, changing of formation, you just need time to train. And in the busiest schedule of the year, you have to find that little gap to improve as quick as you can, because at this club you don't have time to do it during the game. So we were almost like training in games, and it's so hard when things are not going so well. And today definitely we showed that we had a couple more days to train, to settle ideas, to work on a little bit more on what the manager wants us to do. But I mean, I think the biggest difference was the desire that we showed to come here and at least leave the pitch with a little bit proud of ourselves, and I think today we can say that we are.
Yeah, well played, Diego. It's Michael Owen here. I was just wondering, in terms of your specific position, it's probably the hardest, or one of the hardest, when you change the systems. How are you finding that personally, compared to, let's say, the first game of the season under the new manager?
Yeah, I won't lie. It took me a couple of games to get used in terms of physical demanding is so hard. I know I can take it. I know I'm a fullback. I've been built to run, but obviously it was something that I was not used to do it here. So it took me a couple of games, but I think I'm finding myself in the position, trying to do what the manager wants me to do. And it's something that has to be progressive. I want to progress, but with the team as well. I think it has to be important that we collectively be progressive as well.
And just finally, Diego, when you get a result like this today, 2-1 down at Anfield, could have won it, what does that do short-term to the belief and the confidence for those further small steps forward?
It shows when we are when we have the right approach, when we represent this club at the maximum standard, we give everything. We are connected with the fans. I think today they were amazing, and they felt that we wanted to come here and win the game. And I think that's the minimum. And after that, we build, and I'm hoping that's what we're gonna do from now onwards. But because you can live here and say, okay, if we can do this against Liverpool, they are in a very good run this season. We can do against any team, but we just have to do it every game.
That's an interesting point. Liverpool's right were pushed. He thinks it's more the quality of Dalot and Fernandes. What was your opinion of Trent today?
Yeah, well, Fernandes got man of the match, or player of the match. So, yeah, they did play well. Manchester United had a lot of good players, a lot of good attacks, let's say. But there's no question about it. He's protecting his man a little bit there. Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't have a great game. Didn't follow the runner there. This was probably one of Manchester United's best chances in the first half. He possibly could have done better. Again, letting a runner go, which is, unforgivable, really. It got worse, I must admit. Anybody can get taken on, and I wouldn't say this was an awful bit of defending, but again, didn't cover himself in glory. But the goal, and again, I don't necessarily think that's the worst pass in the world. I thought Mo Salah was a little bit on his heels, but this now, Bruno Fernandes just walking past him and him just,
can you forgive that?
I don't even know what that is. That's just, that's just shocking, really. That was the bit that made me sit back in my chair and think, wow. And you can see here on the graphic, Manchester United certainly attacked that side more. Now, whether that was a ploy before the game or whether it developed during the game, we will never know, I guess. But that's exactly what happened.
It's always been labelled against him, hasn't it? We showed all pre-match how fantastic he is, the quality going forward. But in that kind of situation, that's always been labelled against him.
Yeah, when you look at the Liverpool team, I suppose when you analyse them, when you come up to play against, you think, where are Liverpool's weaknesses defensively? And I always think it's both fullbacks. Now, I think Andy Robertson has had a shaky few weeks, so I thought he was actually all right today. But Trent is capable of that. We've seen that a lot. We know how good he is. We know how influential he can be. His technique, brilliant. His balls into players are normally very good. But defending like that in a Manchester United game at Anfield, it's really, you find it hard to believe, really. It's almost blasé, really, as if, go on now, it's okay, you just go past me. And the goal comes from that. It's his reaction as well to his, not so much his pass, as Michael said, it wasn't a great pass. I think Mo Salah can, as Michael said, do a lot more for him. But that's gone. Then he has to react and think, right, I'm going to stop this now. And his reaction to it was nothing short of pathetic.
And you wonder, don't you? I mean, he's got two of the best centre-halves alongside him, covering him all the time. You know, a couple of years ago,
manager
it was
mentioned
Jordan
Gravenberch
Henderson.
there. Gravenberch should have been covering him more, which is a role Henderson did so often, didn't he?
And I just was mentioning a couple of years ago, he had Henderson literally filling in all the time. Then he's had, you know, Fabinho was a great sitting midfielder. He's got Gravenberch that can cover the ground. He's got two centre-halves that cover him all the time. I mean, he is protected unbelievably for him to then go and show his stuff. But on the odd occasion, he's actually asked to do his defensive work. It's not up to scratch, but everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Can I say I wasn't right today, though? When you think of that channel, it was the perfect channel to target, really. You think Konate not playing games, as I said before, he's a player who needs to be playing every week to get that sharpness. And he looked slow, he looked sluggish, he looked like he'd not played for a good while. So,
6 weeks.
So that channel was perfect for Manchester United to attack. And Bruno Fernandes, he said he has the composure to take the ball in them areas and play people. And Dalot isn't actually a flying wing back either, do you know what I mean? So Trent's going to have tougher challenges than that, playing against left wingers. But it was the right area to target, and I think United did it very well.
Really interesting, that Paul from the United. He said really mad 3 times. But basically, he hasn't seen that attitude in any of his previous games in charge until today.
Well, I think that was plain to see, Steve. He's frustrated. He's equally pleased as he is frustrated with the performance, because even me sat here thinking, I've watched there, that was brilliant, really, really good. But I can't get excited about it because I don't know what's going to come next. We have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in the next 5 or 6 games. You can't predict this team. I think, as I said before, I think personnel was better. I think it was better suited to the way he wants to play. And he's right. He can't coach effort. He's had 5 or 6 days with him. Yeah, brilliant. You can put him in positions. You can tell how are you going to score a goal, how are you going to keep possession, how are you going to build up from the back. But he can't give him the desire inside the stomach, the fire in the belly to go out there and actually perform like they did today. And that is always part of being a Manchester United player, because teams will always be desperate to beat. Manchester United 14th in Premier League, teams are still absolutely desperate to come and beat them. So if you don't match them for effort, or even give more effort than them, you're going to struggle. And today they did that.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your company as always. Michael and Paul, privileged to watch that game. Another real watchable Premier League game. And it ends a point apiece between the 2 giants from the 3 of us. We'll see you soon.
Well, what a fantastic second half between England's 2 biggest teams, especially the last 15 minutes, Tim. Yeah. In the rain, end-to-end, both going for a winner. Look, we can talk tactics and systems and whatever, but from Ruben Amorim's point of view, this was a day his team stood up, didn't they? They showed a bit of heart.
I think they did. I mean, time and time again, this game is always disappointed, isn't it? We build it up and it lets us down. It didn't let us down today. It was a fantastic game of football. Great advert for the Premier League, and we saw Man United back. I'm not saying they're back permanently, of course. It's a glimmer. It is a building block for them fans to get encouraged about today. The way their team played, and I think it helped by the manager not making wholesale changes, certainly to the back 5. Back 5 stayed the same. You need continuity in the back players, and then you could change a few up front. Of course you can. I thought they played well, and I think they deserved it in the end, a draw.
Yep. I mean, at first 15, 20 minutes, Liverpool were always going to be on top, but United then just grew into it, didn't they? Got a bit of confidence, obviously got the lead, but then to come back and get the equaliser, having given up the lead, I think shows what, as Tim was saying, that Ruben Amorim can cling on to and start to build from now.
Yeah, there's lots of positives for them to take from that game, from that performance, especially the second half. They showed that they were aggressive. They can be very technically gifted at times when they want to be. The work ethic, especially in that second half, was fantastic from every single one of those players. I do think there are still a lot of areas to improve on. But again, the manager will look at that and say, right, well, I'm disappointed with the goals we conceded. I'm disappointed with the possession we gave away. However, I was very, very excited and very pleased with the opportunities that we created and the pressure that we put on this Liverpool side, who are absolutely fantastic this season, especially. They're running away with the league. They're still 6 points clear at the top of the league with a game in hand. And that just speaks volumes as to how well they've done this season. And for him to turn around, for the team to perform the way they did today, like I mentioned, that second half especially, he'll be happy with.
They played well in patches, Liverpool, didn't they? I mean, they will have expected to win the game. The Liverpool fans definitely expected to win the game.
Look,
but I think my
United
point
went
is
ahead.
they show they're not impregnable, Liverpool.
Of course not. No, I think they went ahead, and then they can take it. In the blink of an eye, they take the game away from you, especially at Anfield. They've got top players, you know, like some Mo Salah. For me, he's a little genius. I thought McAllister was outstanding today, pulling the strings in the midfield area. Gakpo, always a goal threat. You know, the fantastic finish for his goal. They've got good players, real good players. They've had experience of going all the way and winning the Premier League. They're in the box seat to do it again. Even today, they wasn't at their best, and it was a tough game. They would have expected to win. Everyone's gone there expecting them to roll over Manchester United because Man United have not been anything. They've been a shadow of themselves, and it's been a slow building block for Ruben Amorim. But let's give them credit today. I really think we need to give Man United credit, Amorim credit. He took a lot of stick. You know, I think he's had a little bit of leeway because he's very good in front of the camera. He talks excellently, and I think that gives him a little bit of a respite. But because with Ten Hag, sometimes he used to come in front of the camera after a game, and I used to think, I've seen a completely different game today. Yeah. But this man's honest. He's authentic. He tells it as it is. He knows it hasn't been good enough. But today he'd be really encouraged with that group. Not only him, but Jason Wilcox, Omar, all of the owners of the football club, the ones, the hierarchy they brought in, who appointed this man, will be very pleased with what they saw today. But it's just a start. Need to go on. It's a tough game. They go FA Cup, Arsenal. It's the worst draw possible they could have had next game. They need to get that one out of the way.
Let's have a look at the goals then, starting with Manchester United going in front through Martinez. Trent Alexander-Arnold can speak to whoever he wants to now. We're past January the 1st. We think it's probably Real Madrid. Defensively, Jermaine, he doesn't do brilliantly here, does he, Alexander-Arnold?
No, he doesn't. Not really. You expect him to close down a little bit tighter, a little bit quicker. His movement here, he's not... His first role...
There's no dynamism about it.
His role in the team is a defender first, right? And in that instance, he's got players running off him into space. There's bags of space. And he reacts. He's reactive rather than being proactive. It's disappointing, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is not known for being a fantastic defender anyway. He's known as being a great football player. Technical ability, his distribution is outrageously good. That's what he's known for.
Now, Gakpo's has arguably been, well, he's up there along with Salah, with the player of the season for Liverpool, I'd say, Tim.
Amazing. I mean, for me, he's a wide player who doesn't want to take on his fullback. He wants to come inside and threaten the goal. All the time he plays. When the ball's on the other side, he gets at the back post, he scores goals there, and he's got this ability. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He lifts it over the top of the goalkeeper, gives it a fantastic finish. He was coming off the pitch. They were going to make a change. He was the one coming off. They leave him on the pitch. I would always leave a goal scorer on the pitch when you need goals.
I think when we have a look at this, I think the only surprise is that Michael Oliver didn't see it in real time.
Yeah.
That's why VAR is there. You can't have your arm out there. It's not shoulder height, it's above shoulder height, that, Jermaine.
Yeah, it's an unnatural position, and, you know, he's going to watch that back, and his teammates will watch it back and say, mate, what are you doing? Why would you hand it up all the way up there? Was he trying to get out of the way of the ball? Was it... who knows? But it's schoolboy defending. As a defender, you have to take one in the face. Looking at that penalty, Mo Salah, nice penalty, caught it, put it in the bottom corner, but questions have to be asked of Onana.
18 in the league for Salah now equals his record last season. We were saying, watching this, Tim, they'll get another chance, United, because they look that sort of team today, didn't they? That they'd get one more opportunity.
I thought they always looked to Fred. They looked well organised, and they looked to Fred. Got the Garnacho's come on, and Ahmed there, who's I think he's been the star man for Ruben Amorim since he's
comes up with big goals, doesn't he?
He does, and like you say, he gets himself in the right area. Robertson won't be happy there. He could have defended a little bit better. He got very tight, then he pushed off him, gave him the yard, and the yard is all he needed, and he just swept that one. It didn't. Jermaine will tell you don't have to hit him perfectly all the time. No. You need to scuff him sometimes, and that one goes underneath.
Straight through the legs of the defender as well, makes it hard for Alisson.
Yeah, he's got to react as well, and as Tim said there, he's sort of mishit it. It's hit his heel, gone through the legs of Robertson, ended up in the back of the net. Look, if he catches it perfectly flush, you never know. It might end up in Alisson's hands.
have a look and talk us through the last moment of the match. Now, we think, and Chris Foy's with the side, that Xerxes might well have been offside anyway, but let's assume he's not for the moment. About the role of Xerxes, should he have shot? And then when he doesn't, the quality of his pass and Maguire's attempted finish.
So I'm saying, benefit of the doubt to the forward, call it onside, right, firstly. Secondly, you're one-on-one with a goalkeeper, go for goal. Yeah. Thirdly, it's a very, very poor pass. It's a bobbled, bouncing pass into Harry Maguire. You've had 2 or 3 looks across as well before the ball's gotten to you. You know who's in there. That, for me, says, don't look to square it. You're an attacker, go for goal.
We're talking about a player who's just been bought off in the last game against Newcastle after half hour.
Yeah.
You know, his confidence is very low. I thought he was offside by his hair.
Yeah.
But I think once it goes in there... Yeah.
You think he's got to shoot? Will you expect Xerxes to shoot?
I thought he made the right decision, I have to be honest. I mean, he the only thing he's done wrong, his pass was a little bit... It was a bobbler into Harry Maguire, and I feel sorry for Harry.
Yeah.